George Eliasson is an American investigative journalist in Donbas covering the war, and I'm very, very glad to meet him. George, thanks for coming on the Mother of All talk shows. Give us some background first. Where are you from and why are you there?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts originally, and I was here a long time before the war started. I moved to Ukraine in 2010. I lived a few years in West Ukraine, and I moved to Donbas in 2012. So I predate the war here, and I didn't come here for it. It came for us.
Well, it was ill-fated in many respects, although it has allowed you to emerge as one of the star reporters of the conflict, because only 2 years after you went there, the coup in Kiev took place and the war began.
Mm-hmm.
How has it been?
Yeah, early on, I broke a lot of the first stories about everything coming, Maidan, everything coming out of Maidan in the West. Back then, Ukraine was just kind of unorganized in its media operation. And it was actually leaders of the diaspora that were doing the commenting, trying to deplatform people. And you'd have Radio Svoboda trying to tear apart articles that you wrote. That's what it was like then. Right now, they have, in 2022, Ukraine has a 300,000 person IT army. And they're doing DDoS hacks across the world. They're attacking companies, people, deplatforming people, demonetizing people. Getting news out of Donbas, out of the republics, is very difficult. And because of all the deplatforming and demonetizing from 2015, 2016 and onward, a lot of the news and opinion platforms are afraid to carry news from here. That allowed them to, when they started the info war, to literally leave everybody else voiceless. And it's the same people that were doing it in 2014. Once in a while, I talk to the manager of the media operation. He contacts me to gloat.
Yeah, now their media operation is, of course, lavishly funded from the West. The Kiev Independent newspaper, for example, is revealed to have been kick-started basically by, I think, Canadian funding. There's millions of pounds being spent, dollars being spent on the media operation. And President Zelensky has had a good war on a personal level. I mean, he's on the front page of the magazines. He's posing in photo shoots. I saw one today with sacks behind him that were supposed to look like defensive ramparts, but were on closer inspection found to be sacks of sugar. The whole operation to glamorize the president of Ukraine has been an enormous success, hasn't it?
Well, it should. The companies that actually put this together are out of the UK. They came out of Saatchi and Saatchi. You're familiar with their work, yes?
Yeah.
For Margaret Thatcher and such. Then you're familiar with Nigel Oakes, SCL. Are you familiar with IOTA Global, Colonel Steve Tatum?
Go on.
They started, pardon?
Yes, go on.
IOTA Global was the only information operation company in the world that had to get military licensing. These people could literally drop boots on the ground next to you. That's what their licensing is. And they were out of the UK. They started their contract in around 2011, 2012 in Ukraine, doing all the prep work for Maidan, getting it set up as a media operation. Now, a lot of it's funded by the various diasporas, Ukrainian diasporas and other friendly diasporas. They work together. If you look at the MH17 investigation, now everything that actually went to the Netherlands came out of Ukraine's Information Operations Group. It was Inform Napalm, Bellingcat, etc., that were set up by SCL. And they were on a Canadian government contract for that. And that's actually public information. You just need to know where to look for it. Now, as it turned into the 2016 elections, you'll notice if you think back, everything kind of went quiet in Ukraine. It's because the same people were focusing on Hillary Clinton's election. So when you look at the Steele dossier, it was groups associated with the information operations in Ukraine itself. You had their anti-censor group that found we'll say the Manafort Black Book. Start with that. Well, they were with Pravi Sector and the actual guy on social media that got Maidan rolling. We're all together, and they found something that was impossible to find because it didn't exist. It was Ukraine's hacking groups that actually put it together, and I've documented all the people involved with that. The Steele dossier.
Listen, now we're running out of time, George. So tell people how they can read your stuff.
Oh God, a lot of the platforms were taken down. I'm starting to put it up at Substack right now. You can find me on Muckrack if you're looking for it. I've documented the entire info op. Now, the way it runs into now, did you know that Ukraine destroyed a Russian ship in the Black Sea? Are you aware of that?
No, but we don't have time to develop it, unfortunately, because I've got to go to the news.
Oh, well,
I'll certainly be reading anything that you have written, George. Thanks for joining us.